What's up, guys? Peter Voogd here.
Tim Sykes.
The craziest millionaire on the planet, Tim Sykes.
I'm back up.
Here's our focus. We just watched 25 different startups pitch their ideas to us. And we were in the room, it felt like, for what, 47 hours straight?
47 years
Yeah.
in Leavenworth.
Oh my gosh.
That was a prison sentence.
And all we want to do is give up and coming startups some advice on what to think about, because to be very blunt, as we both are, I think 90% of them didn't have their pitch down. They either weren't prepared, they weren't given the right information.
You're way too optimistic. It's 99%. This is why startups fail. It's not just about the vision, it's not just about the money, it's the whole package. Some of them couldn't articulate their vision, some of them only talked about their vision and no execution.
No numbers.
No numbers.
There was no exact amount of investment they needed and what the benefit for us was. So let's just give a couple things that you look for, and I'm sure we're pretty aligned here.
Yeah.
What are the things, if you have 100 startups, we're probably gonna really be passionate about one or two.
Yeah.
I want our audiences to be the one or two that actually get the investors' money and really rise above the noise. So what are some things you look for when you're listening to a startup and you're watching their presentation?
So first of all, you can't be so committed to your vision that you're being like unwilling to change. So many of these people are like, it has to be this way. No, your startup is probably gonna have multiple pivots. So unless you're acceptable of that, right? Like, oh, it's okay to change. But I know one guy and he just kept talking about the vision and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna do anything else. Also, you need experience.
And he had no sales yet, by the way.
And no numbers, nothing. Like, he just had a vision.
Yep.
Also, you need experience or, some background. Like, you need industry contacts or, maybe some previous exits. And if you don't have the previous exits, like, you have to bring people on who have that experience, because startups change.
100%. And we were actually kind of laughing. We saw a lot of charts, and every chart had perfect growth to the top, but very few of them actually had a marketing plan attached to that, and they didn't tell us how they were gonna get to 5, 10, 20 million. They just had a chart. You cannot base anything off what you think and potential. You have to base it off facts, real numbers, real data, and actually give us a script or at least a roadmap on how you're gonna make the 5 or 10 million you're gonna make. And I didn't see
one said it was 150 million in profits within 5 years. Yeah. Hockey stick like growth. It's all a given. And I was like, are you?
But there was no marketing plan afterwards.
There was nothing. And one guy actually didn't even know his revenues. We specifically asked like 4 times, what were your revenues? He's like, no, not much. And then we're like, well,
what's
give
the
us
number?
a number. And he's like, no, I don't know.
It varies.
We pinned him.
Yeah. So you have to know all of your stuff. You have to do your due diligence, and especially with an investor. You want to figure out the problem you're solving and get that out there and tell people what makes your business different than every other business, but you need to articulate how the investor will get their money back. Very few of them, Tim, actually told us the amount they wanted and what it was going to be used for. So if you want 100,000, if you want $1 of Tim's money, that's gonna be tough.
It's
right?
true. You need to be clear and concise, and you need to have a plan. Without the plan, everything changes so quickly too. So if you don't have a set plan, if you don't have set goals, and you're very specific, you're probably gonna be like the 90% of startups that fail.
More than that.
And we don't want that. We don't want to invest in a failure. There's so many people who want money, and you have to basically earn it. Nothing is gonna be given. If you're doing a presentation, practice it the night before. Practice it 5 times, 10 times, in the mirror, to friends. Get feedback. Don't go on the stage cold and just be an amateur, because you're not gonna be successful that way.
We saw a lot of people that we could tell when prepared. One guy, literally he gets up there and he goes, oh, my laptop's about to die. How do you not charge your laptop before the actual pitch? This is one of the biggest moments of your life. So be prepared and really make sure you're prepping, like he said. Prepare 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, and make sure it's very clear and concise.
And you don't have to be perfect too. Like we're humans too. Like we know mistakes happen.
We don't mind a mess up.
But we can tell like if you're passionate. We can tell if you like practice. We're accepting and
humans,
understanding of problems that happen, like stage tech, stuff like that happens. But we can also see who's just really meticulous, and we don't want to give our money to a company that's not meticulous. Like even in the presentation, if you can't show us that, like this is your first interaction with us, and if you can't pass this simple test, we're not going to deal with you in the future.
What gets you the most excited about a startup? Like, what is the thing that, is it really just the money you can make, or is it the upside of the person?
No, and this is the thing, it's not just about the money. Like, you should be so passionate about the problem that you're solving, and obviously if it's a good problem, if you actually can solve it, the money will be there. you're not going to have a problem making money if you can actually solve a real
100%.
problem. And that's what's exciting, like changing the world, saying, oh, wait a minute, this is an issue. Let me try to fix that in 5 or 10 different ways. And if you even just scratch the surface of a lot of big problems, the money will be there. Maybe not in 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, but eventually. And if you're passionate about it, you know, you have to love it. Like, you can't just say, oh, this is my side project.
Yeah, it has to be every day.
If it works or not. Like, startups and investing in entrepreneurship is so tough.
When you were in your biggest grind and sacrifice, how many hours were you working?
I don't count the hours. Like, it's
how many days a week?
It's every day.
I'm the same with me.
I'm trying just not to get sick, okay? That's my main focus whenever I'm grinding. Like, even here in Tokyo, I'm trading stocks in the night. I'm freaking doing charity in the day. I'm out filming. I'm trying to eat the best sushi.
Well, but people see your Instagram and they say, well, he's traveling, he's in a pool. It's like, no, you're hustling your ass off. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So people need to realize, yes, we have a great lifestyle if you see us traveling, but we also got there by hustling and working our faces off.
You also
every single day.
On social media, it's tough to share the hustle because, like, it would just be like 12 hours of me staring at a laptop.
Yeah.
How do you condense that into a 15-second Instagram story? So I can't show the whole hustle. I can tell you about it. You know, if you become my student, you can actually see it because I'm giving webinars, I'm writing blog posts, I'm doing video lessons, I'm trading, I'm giving commentary. Like, you have to grind so hard. And most of you guys, no offense, you just don't want it that bad. And that's why we're making this video, to try to get you in the right mindset. You know,
you want to know how bad you want it, you have to look at your results in the last couple months.
Yeah, and you just, it pisses me off that there's so much confusion out there. This is why we teach. This is exactly it, because I don't want you to fail. I hate seeing this stuff that people are so confused, and especially it's tough, I think, going from a corporate job to the startup world, because they're different skill sets.
Yep,
what do you think about that? Do you know people who were in like the corporate world and they're used to their 9 to 5 and they want their bi-monthly paychecks?
100%. And they want the certainty. You have to create your own certainty in entrepreneurship. I think the biggest reason, Tim, people don't go from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship is they want the certainty of someone else telling them your paycheck's coming on Friday every 2 weeks.
Well,
you
like
create that. 100%. But there's no more safety net these days.
But entrepreneurship, gone. So they want the freedom and they want the safety net. You can't have both.
It's impossible.
Okay? It's eat what you kill in this industry. And if you don't kill anything, guess what? You starve and you die, like most startups.
You either play it safe or become successful. But it's impossible to do both. I have people that reach out from my academy too, and they say, Peter, I'm making $350,000 in corporate. I would rather make 80 grand on my own terms. So there's nothing more important than living life on your terms, traveling, doing what you love, but it takes hustle, grind, due diligence, sacrifice, solving a big problem, being articulate, getting your messaging down, and most importantly, making sure you have a very strong reason why. Like he said earlier, it's all about knowing your why and what problem you're solving, and then being able to articulate that to investors or to people that obviously you want the vision to be a part of as well. So.
And one last closing thought, it takes a team to really make the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's corny, but it's true. You have to recognize that you have weaknesses and that you have strengths, and you need to optimize. So get rid of your weaknesses and show that to somebody else who can then help you with that.
Like, I've asked you probably 5 or 6 questions. Every answer's, I'm not sure. My team does that. People need to realize you're only doing your strengths and what you love.
It's true. I don't know accounting. I stay away from accounting. There's a lot of things that I don't know. I don't want to know, and that's fine. You don't have to be a master of all things. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're the CEO, you need to have the dream. You need to try to, take the big vision and then let some other people take over little things. You don't need to do everything yourself, and you shouldn't try to do everything yourself because you will burn out. Imagine what if you do get sick for a week and the whole startup is reliant on you. Guess what? Does the company shut down? Do all the customers get left hanging? You need some backup. You need some safety, and that way, that's why you create a team. So be sure to not just overwhelm yourself. No matter how passionate you are, sometimes you actually have to realize, take a step back a little bit and
100%.
Have
the ultimate power I've realized is just knowing your strengths and weaknesses. I think there's too many people that try and do all of it themselves and they don't want to hire.
You have to be honest with yourself.
Know yourself.
Entrepreneurship is about honesty. Like, we all have weaknesses. Some people watching this, they're like, oh, I don't have weaknesses, I can do it. We all have weaknesses. Yeah. That is your weakness. Not realizing that you have a weakness is a weakness, okay? Like,
100%.
How many people do you have on your team helping everybody?
No, probably between 9 and 9 and 11.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
you know, I have over 40 employees now. I can't even manage them. I'm not good at managing employees. Half of my employees are blocked on my Skype.
If you manage, they might quit, dude. No, just kidding.
No, you're serious. I don't recognize time. I'm in different time zones. That's how I roll. But half of my employees, I can't do that. So I am blocked.
Yeah.
That's a weakness of mine. I've recognized it, and so I have blocked it to take away that issue.
You guys heard it first. I appreciate you guys. The best thing you could do is simplify it. Whatever you got from this video that you need, that you actually can execute, take notes, go execute, because I think the number one reason people fail is they never tell themselves now matters. They're always like, well, I'll do it tomorrow, next week. Right now matters more than ever. So appreciate you, Tim, man. Most people spend the first half of their life saying they're too young and the second half saying they're too old. Don't be like most people. I want you guys to crush it and make millions. And you got to do it by listening to the people that have done it, like Tim as well. So much respect.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's also important to understand that this is the most revolutionary time in centuries since the printing press. So don't just let it pass you by. Right now, there's new websites, there's new technologies, there's new tools being created every day. And we're just at the beginning of the internet. Picture like cars when they were first invented in the early 1900s. You know, we're like freaking like Ford Model T. Like it's just beginning. Like this is when talkies first came out in Hollywood. Like this is an amazing time to be alive. And you can do this from the comfort of your own home. You can do this from a beach in Bali.
I know 15-year-olds making big money. There's no limitations anymore.
The internet is the great equalizer. It comes down to you and your passion and following a plan, and obviously having mentors helps cut down your learning curve. So many people try to do this on their own, like, oh, I don't need you. It's gonna take you years, if not decades, and so many stupid mistakes can be avoided if you get mentors who have been there. I've made so many mistakes, I never had a teacher. So get mentors like us. That will help you succeed quicker.
Yep, love it, man. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon.